with your hands, you press buttons and you can do this, right? You can float. So everyone just do that a little bit, just move side to side. I know it's absolute basics, but we're going to build from here. So this should be like your first step, how you're moving around. You can move to a certain amount, but it will get capped at a certain point, which I believe is like 4 meters per second. So if you need to go faster, you're now pressing the left joystick. I know this is absolute basics, but so you guys should know this already. If you press your joystick, you know that you go slightly faster. So when you're moving in the arena, your bread and butter should be your joystick. You should be using that by default, and then your hands are your, you know, the buttons that you're pressing with your thumbs. Those are just for steering. So if you want to get there as fast as you can and you're in free space, you should be using your back booster for the momentum, and then just steering with your hands by pointing your hands around. That's your default way of moving. So just to add to that, if you don't use it already, you definitely should, as much as you can, is your brake. Say you're moving in a way that you don't want to move and you haven't got anything to grab, you shouldn't be doing this kind of floating around in a circle, taking your time to come all the way back, because you're just fighting against the momentum that you've already built. It's way quicker to use your brake. Instead of being in the negative, go back to 0 and then build back your momentum in the way that you need to be. Brake, face the way you want to go, and use your back booster. Yeah, so there's 2 ways of turning. The way that the majority of you are probably doing by default, if you're on a Quest 2, you haven't got any wires unless you're charging. So you physically turn around, right?
Yes.
You just turn around, and that's how you turn it. It's great, especially as a beginner, because it's so intuitive. You haven't got to overthink it or worry about what your fingers are doing. But what I advise people very early on to get the hang of is using your joystick to turn. Not that one, this one. Your right hand thumbstick. Some people might turn that off because it makes them a bit queasy. Some people still have snap turn on. I recommend putting that onto smooth turn and moving quickly. If it does make you a bit queasy, obviously be cautious of it. Keep it on snap turn if you want. I had it on snap turn until I got to about level 50, I'll be honest. I just liked it, and I was scared of feeling queasy as well. I think I just pushed myself too far early on. Yeah, that's my recommendation, because it's so much quicker. If I'm going the wrong way, the half a second it takes to turn around and the risk of losing my balance as well is just removed if I just spin around. And also the benefit is that this is a very quick game, and it's happening in 6 dimensions. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. In 3 dimensions. So in front of you, behind you, to the left, to the right, but also above and below. So the quicker you can turn around, the quicker you can keep tabs on the moving parts. You've got 3 teammates, 4 enemies, and a disc moving around the arena. So the quicker you can turn your attention and turn your head and turn the way you're facing, the more you can read the game, stay in the game, know what's going on, rather than be like a second behind. Say the disc is already in the other end, but you haven't seen it because you're too busy trying to turn around. The next part is what I'm doing without even thinking, which is grabbing things. I'm anchoring myself to objects. So I was saying how using your back booster should be your bread and butter, but in my opinion the exception is if you're near an object and you can grab it. It's for a million reasons. It's so much more effective to grab things rather than float around. It's a completely different movement mechanic. It just feels different. The way you play the game, the way you think about your directional path around the arena just changes when you think about grabbing, and when you get used to it as well, and it becomes second nature. If you hold down your grip, you have what people have come to call auto grab. If you hold it down and interact with an object, it just snaps to your hand. Yeah, I mean, that's massive. If you didn't know that, it's massive. If you already knew that, then it's like, yeah, you already knew that. But obviously use that to your advantage. So it means that if you're moving sideways to an arena, to an object, say you're looking at the disc in the other end, you can just stick your hand out and you just get a sixth sense of where objects are. It's harder with smaller ones, but say like Bowtie right in the middle, I can just float towards it, maybe. There we go. So you haven't got to stress about getting a perfect catch on objects. What I saw Precise do just a second ago was taking that a step further. So there's auto grab, but once you feel the slight vibration in your hand and you hear the noise of your hand colliding, if you then push away and let go at the same time, you slap off the object. So this would be the next level to that. So there's the auto grab, and then there's a quick release, like a slap release. If you get the hang of it, takes time to get used to it if this is all new to you. But if you get the hang of that, you can instantly change your momentum. You can be moving at 5 meters per second to the left. But if you auto grab and slap away in an instant, you've instantly changed your momentum. And it's a part of the game that's physically quite broken, in that in real life, there's always momentum. There's always, like, what's the term? Newton's laws of motion, right? You need like an equal and opposite force to stop. That just doesn't apply in this game. You can just instantly change direction. And later on, as you get into like juking and things like that, you can use that to your advantage. You can really throw people off. You can get them to feel that you're going a certain way. But like the game's just broken. You can go any way that you really want, very quickly.
I was saying when I first learned, I forgot walls and ceiling and floor act the same way. So you can do anchoring off of that plus pushing off.
Yeah, that's very true.
Something I had never thought about at the beginning.
Yeah, when I teach people one-on-one, I always bring them to the floor, and I use that just because this is the largest piece of geometry, if you will, in the arena, is just the floor and walls. So if you want to practice your timing of grabbing the wall or an object and moving sideways, back and forth, it's just come down to the floor. You get a feel of that. And if you can get it to the point where you can move quite smoothly along the floor, then that will apply to other objects as you move around, and you'll get your timing down. With the disc in your strong hand, I want you to train yourself to use your offhand as the default for grabbing. I want you to train yourself to get comfortable to use your offhand to grab objects and move around.
Now that is hard.
It's very hard. But if you get this down, like, you've got a massive advantage when the disc is in your hand. The panic goes out the window, you've got control. But once you get it, once it clicks, and you're in a pub and you've got the disc in your hand, like you'll just be way more relaxed. You'll know you can move, you won't panic.
Stuff like this because you can just immediately pass after.
Remember to use your brake if you're flying off a way that you don't want to go.
So I always like having it.
If you've lost the cue, just keep moving, just randomly go to blocks.
Oh yeah, I am. I lost them a long time ago.
Aiming of...
My body.
Right, so like direction that you're pushing off at.
Yeah, just
So once you've pushed off, guide yourself. Use your hand boosters to guide. Say you've pushed yourself off too far to the left.
Yeah.
And obviously, so this takes your back booster out. If you're holding a disc, you can't use your back booster.
Yeah.
Go.
Can we regrab?
That's a good spin. Avoid it just for this one. I really wanted to keep it simple. Just read in the bounce, moving yourself, keep it all dynamic.
Alright,
And try and anchor more. Yep, slack and go. That's it. Nice, well done. Well done, that was great. What do you mean you can't read bounces?
Well, over the I've learned to, like, just by using the geos, it's helped so much. And I learned that in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, they do.
Got it. I'm at bow tie. Nope, I missed it. Let's get back this time.
It's down there.
Oh, he does the style. One on still. Oh, you're there. Oh, no. My bad.
Orange has it.
Got me.
Wall. Okay, I'm at post.
Reset.
Okay, it's open goal. Open goal.
Go.
Yeah, I gotta go.
It's not open goal, man. It is not open goal.
It changed in a matter of a second.
Oh, no.
How is it?
Oh, you got me 2 left. You got me down here.
Nice.
Oh, I'm hiding left.
Yeah, no.
Alright, you're hot.
That's yours. Back station. Back station. Oh, damn it. Bounce. Right, low, red. Yep.
Oh, clean shot.
Nice Scrim.
So close.
I'm on here.
Oh, I request you. My bad.
That's not clear.
Red side?
Left side. Right, stack on.
I thought
Have it off for a slumber.